Good morning, all. So, first of all, I hope that all of you are watching this in good health and are at safe place. Maybe, and the most safest place right now is our homes. So, I hope you all are in good health and working and doing great even. So, this is for our course. We started during online classes and during physical classes when we were in campus at Modi University. But now, and after midterm exam, and you know how the situation was just after Holi break. So we are in lockdown. Almost everyone is in lockdown, and it was not possible to take online classes for a number of reasons. So right now, so what I've decided is I will send you videos of the topics which are pending, and these are almost sort of live classes. I will dictate the PPTs and various topics one by one to you. This is in video format. You can download it. You can go to YouTube, or you can download it n number. You can watch it n number of times till you get hold of the topic. At the same time, important thing is again and again go through them so that you, if you in case you have any doubt, or you can ask me. And at the same time, these topics, watching a video again and again will help you remembering and learning these topics. So I think it's a good way to communicate or to teach or tell you some concepts. And next, after this topic, even if in this topic or other topics I'm going to discuss with you, if you have any doubts related to any particular topic, some sentence you are not getting, one provision you are not understanding, you can ask that doubt to me through my WhatsApp, or give me a text message on my number. You people have that number. And so let's start. I don't want to waste time. And so this will be your third module of your course, and we have 5 modules to go. And you may have your exams in July, from July 1st. You already had an email from management of the university that your exams will be scheduled in July. So before that, my target is by May 31st I will deliver all the video lectures to you people, so that you can go through them and you will be okay with this. In case after that we will discuss doubts, or if you need any more clarification or any other video, something like that, we'll go. At the same time, I will keep posting notes of these also, because after going through a video, if you want to just go through the notes, you can go through them. No need of watching video again and again. This will stay with you. Whenever you want to take time, you can have a look at it. So let's start. So this is a new chapter and a new topic, and maybe in second module we left some portions after prospectus. We did something, and 2-3 chapters or 2-3 topics I'm missing out right now. I will discuss those topics again afterwards, but because this is first lecture, so I wanted to start a fresh topic with no background at all, so that any one of you can grasp it easily. So this is first topic of third module, let's say. And so the topic is directors, and it's a very lengthy topic, very important. And at the same time, if in exam it will cover most of the part, most of the weightage at the end. Good thing is that directors is a thing you keep on hearing again and again in newspaper, in something related to every company. Every one of you, and everyone with a common man also knows who director is, and there is some person who is known as director, who is attached or associated with an organization known as company. So director is a very common word which we keep on hearing again and again. And we are not talking about directors of movies. Let me be very clear. I am talking about directors who are individuals who manage company. So they are different from shareholders. They are different from members, and they're individuals from here, individuals, by word individual I mean person who has taken a natural birth, like me or like you or like any other human being. So directors are individuals who manage a company. They come together, they manage a company, they form a group known as board of directors. So every company is managed by board of director, and it's important that it should be managed like that only, because we knew that we already had discussed this n number of time in class that company is an artificial person, and managing business for an artificial person is not easy. So board of directors is a body of individuals who manages company, who manages affairs of the company, business of the company, day-to-day affairs of the company on behalf of shareholders, or you can say owners or members of the company. So I think you have a clear idea what board of directors is. So board of directors is common group of all the directors, or it is team of directors. Every director, whether your company has 50 directors or let's say even 2 directors, if you combine all of them, then a common noun for that thing is board of directors. And every company is an artificial person. It is mandatory that every company is managed by a group of people known as board of directors. So if someone asks whether there is a company, and in that company one board of director is there or not, it will be there. It should be there because it is important, it is mandatory, it is compulsory. Before apart from directors, there is no body, there is no group of people which can manage a company. It is required by law, that's why it is mandatorily, or you can say compulsory, to have board of directors. Again, you have studied partnership law or law relating to partnership in previous Companies Act, and previous semester, and in partnership firm there is no requirement of board of director, because that is partnership firm, not company, and partners manages business of partnership firm. At the same time, proprietor manages business of a sole proprietorship, but in company business should be managed by board of directors, because company is again an artificial person. If company is not an artificial person, if natural person, then it can manage its own business, but it is not. So it should be managed by board of directors or directors. Now a single director cannot manage a company, because it also depends on number of directors in a company. It depends on what kind of business your company is into, what scale of business your company is right now working in, and in how many countries your company is working in, and number of factors which can affect the number of directors required in a company. So we'll not go into that. The concept is, or the theory is, that a company may have more than 2 directors, 3 directors. A company may have, let's say, 100 directors. There is no bar on, or there is no limit on number of directors a company can have, but there is a limit that beyond which there should be a minimum number of directors should be present in a company. So we'll discuss this, and then this is contents. The present slide which is there in front of you is contents what we are going to discuss in this particular lecture or PPT. It is board of directors, women director, SSD, small shareholder director, disqualification director, identification number, legal position of directors, and removal of directors. So basically we will discuss each and every concept, each and every aspect of the topic directors in a company, which is applicable to your course. I will share notes, and I will share PDF and books also. You can refer those books, no issue, but PPT itself will suffice if you go for exams, and for further knowledge you can refer books or any other source. And you have any doubt, you can ask me. Now you may also have heard the words CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officers, MD, WTD, Whole-Time Director, Managing Director, and etc. etc. Now see, so any word which is a suffix as director, that person or that position will fall under category of board of director, will fall under the scope of board of director. But at the same time, CEO, that is Chief Executive Officer, does not have the word director as a suffix or prefix, so that will not fall under board of directors. Okay, some exceptions may be there. A director can be a CEO, or a CEO can be a director. But if a person is only direct CEO of a company, he is not director of the company. At the same time, there are two separate positions you may have heard of, that is MD, managing director. So now the word managing director as director word as its suffix, that simply means managing director is also director. But if you look for the word manager of a company, then manager does not have a word suffix as a suffix director, then simply means, that simply indicates the manager is not director of the company, he is just an officer of the company. So it's very simple to recognize whether a particular person is holding, or an individual is holding a position of director or not in a company, is simply by you look at the position he is sitting right now. So if he is sitting as a position, he occupies a position with suffix with director, that simply means that particular person is director in that company and he is part of board of directors of that company. Some exceptions are also there in this logic, but rarely one or two are there. I'll discuss that again. I'll discuss afterwards when as we progress in the chapter. But right now, this is the concept of director. I think you may have a clear picture right now. So let's discuss contents. So first is board of directors. So every director, and it is written that every company shall have a board of director consisting of individuals as director, and the important word is individuals, which is individuals is important because I told you director, only a person with natural birth can be a director. Any artificial person, that is let's say example, or a partnership firm, they cannot become director any other company. Only individual person like you and me who have taken natural birth can take position of a director in a company, and shall have a minimum of 3 directors in case of public company. So it's very clear that a public company will have 3 directors, or that is the minimum number of directors a public company should have. So irrespective of the paid up capital, irrespective of the business, irrespective of anything, irrespective of customers, irrespective of members, irrespective of anything, if it is a public company in character of nature, then that company should have minimum 3 directors. It should be very clear. A public company is there, it should have 3 directors, minimum 3 directors. At the same time, if the company is private company, it should have a minimum 2 directors. Now see, okay, and at the same time, if it is OPC, and OPC is again one special kind of private company, but OPC will have one director only. The minimum number of director OPC can have is 1. Should have is 1. Now see, public company, private company and OPC should have minimum director 3, 2 and 1 respectively. But a company can have a maximum of 15 directors, and irrespective of size, irrespective of nature, any company can have 15 directors. So a public company can have 15 directors, yes, it can have. Private company, yes. OPC, yes, OPC can also have 15 directors as maximum directors. There is no bar on that. Again, I told you at the starting of the chapter during the introduction that there is no limit on number of directors you can appoint. So here you will find a company may appoint one or more than 15 directors after passing an SR. What is SR? We will discuss this afterwards. So this is a simple process company follows, and after that company can appoint more than 15 directors in its board of directors. So company may have 25 directors, no issue in that. Okay. Now every company shall have at least one director who has stayed in India for a total period of not less than 182 days in the previous calendar year. Now this is important. So out of all the directors you have, out of all each and every member of board of director company have, a company should have at least one director. That is, if company has 15 directors, let's say, then out of those 15, one director should be a person or an individual who stayed in India for a period of not less than 182 days. 182 days in previous year. That means right now we are in 2020. So if you look at board of directors of a particular company, previous calendar year it is there. Right now the calendar year is 1st January 2020 to 31st December 2020. Previous calendar year was 1st January 2019 to 31st December 2019. So out of all the members all the members of board of directors, let's say all directors of the company, there should be at least one individual who stayed in India for more than 182 days during January 2019 to December 2019. This is very important concept, and it was introduced in company 2013 only. Earlier it was not there, and we call this director a residential director. Some authors and some books use the word residential director, so it is not important that you should also remember the word residential director. But yeah, in some books you may find that there is a word director known as residential director. And what do you mean by residential director? So residential director is any director who remain in India, which stayed in India for the last more than 182 days for the during previous calendar year. So that's it. And every company should have one residential director. We can go it like this. Okay, next. So there is some categories of company which should have women director also. Women director is nothing special, but simply a female individual or who occupies a position of director in board of directors. That's why we call it women director. Yeah, as the name indicates, you can say that. So the following class of companies shall appoint at least one women director. So these companies should have one women director. One is every listed company. Listed company means the companies which are listed on stock exchanges in India. So you know that there are two nationalized stock exchanges, basically NSE and BSE, National and Bombay Stock Exchange. At the same time, there are various state-wise stock exchanges also. So any company which is listed on any nationalized stock exchange, that company should have a women director in board of directors. If 27, 15, 3 directors are there, then one of those directors should be a woman. Women means a female candidate. Next, every other public company, and apart from listed company, the public companies, other public companies which should have a women director are any public company which have a paid up capital of 100 crore rupees or more, or turnover of 300 crore rupees or more. If any public company, so if satisfies any of these conditions, condition A and condition B, that company should also appoint a women director. So if you have a company which is public limited, it is not listed, but the company has a turnover of 150 crores. Company has a turnover of paid up share capital of 150 crores. That company should appoint women director in board of directors. So one director should be there who is a woman. And one more example, any company with turnover means sales of yearly sale of 300 crore rupees. This is net sales actually we are talking about. So net sales of 300 crore rupees or more, then that company should appoint a women director, whether the company is listed or not listed. Okay. Now, for example, there is a private company having a turnover of 400 crores. It need not appoint women director because private company does not come under list specified by the law. Okay, but every listed company, any company irrespective of these things, these capital and turnover threshold, should appoint women director. Simple. Okay, good. Next is a small shareholder director. So these are actually types of directors, and one was women director, we already learned that, and second is a small shareholder director. In short form you can call it SSD, a small shareholder director. And so a small shareholder director, as the name indicates, is nothing but it is appointed by small shareholders. You know what small shareholders are. So any director which is appointed by small shareholder director, small shareholders in a company, is known as small shareholders director. Is apostrophe S is there, so the director of small shareholders, the director who represents a small shareholder. So now important is one important thing is, so which company and how to appoint a small shareholder director and who is a small shareholder director, that we will study now. So a listed company may have one director elected by such a small shareholder. The important word is may, that is company should have a small director known as may have. May is very important. Why may is important? Because may represents that it is not compulsory, it is mandatory. It is not mandatory to have that, it is optional. Okay. Now who is a small shareholder? A small shareholder is not a shareholder who is very small in size, but is a small shareholder who is a shareholder who is holding shares of nominal value of not more than 20,000 rupees. So for example, you invested in a company, you purchase equity shares of the company and you purchase them for only for 20,000. Nominal value of shares is 20,000. I am not talking about market price of the share. Here we are talking about nominal value of the shares, and nominal value of shares is just 20,000 rupees. in that case you are considered a small shareholder. Now, upon notice of a small, notice means information, upon notice of a small shareholder, every listed company shall appoint a small shareholder director. Notice shall be made by not less than 1,000 small shareholder or 1/10 of total number of such, whichever is lower. Now, so how shareholders will appoint their director? They will make a notice or they will request company to appoint a director which represents them, and for that you need at least 1,000 small shareholders as a group to apply, or total number of shareholder or 1/10 of total number of shareholder, whichever is lower. For example, in for example, one listed company is there and that company has total of 2,000 small shareholders. So how many shareholders need to apply for appointment of a small shareholder? One limit is 1,000, either 1,000 should apply, and second limit is 1/10 of total number of shareholders. What is 1/10 of total number of shareholders? 1/10 of total number of shareholders is 2,000 shares were total, the shareholders were there in total. 1/10 is 1/10 of 2,000. So 1/10 of 2,000 will be 200. And out of these two, if lower we have to take, or lower we have to consider. Now 1,000 and 200, lower is 200. So in this particular company, example of this company with 2,000 small shareholders, 200 shareholders if applied together, 200 small shareholders applied together for appointment of an individual director who represent their interest will be known as a small shareholders director. Then the company should appoint, or in that case company have to appoint a particular director. Okay. Now the notice shall be accompanied by a statement signed by person whose name is being proposed for the post of small shareholder. That is, the notice should contain name of the person who, for example, you want Mr. Ram to be appointed as director. So in that notice statement should be there of Mr. Ram. Then his director identification number should be there. He is not disqualified to be director should be there. His consent to act as director should be there in the company in that statement. Next is, such director shall be considered independent, that this director or as independent SSD shall be independent director. Very important concept. Who is independent director we will discuss afterwards, after some time. Next is, such director shall not be liable to retire by rotation. This again, there are terms which we are going to study afterwards, but you just try to remember from for this time. It will take time. It's a very lengthy chapter and very technical also. So such director shall also not be retired by rotation. Now, these two provisions. Next, tenure of a small shareholder director shall not exceed a period of 3 consecutive years. That is, if you appoint a director, let's say in 2020, a small shareholder director, he will be there for 3 consecutive years, not more than that. Shall not exceed. Shall not exceed means he cannot be at the office more than 3 years. That is, 2020 he was appointed, he will be there till 21, 22 and 23. He should leave office in 2023. His tenure expires, that is 3 years he is completed in 2020. He will complete his tenure of 3 years 2023, and he should vacate his office at that time. And on expiry of tenure, such director shall not be eligible for reappointment. After 2023 you cannot appoint that person again as SSD. For example, Ram we had appointed as SSD, so in 2023 he will retire, and after that he cannot join back as SSD. No person shall hold the position of a small shareholder director in more than 2 companies at the same time. This is again important. So a person can only act as SSD in 2 companies, not more than that. Provided that second company in which he has been appointed shall not be in a business which is competing or is in conflict with the business of the first company. For example, Mr. Ram is appointed in your company, let's say your company is A company, and Mr. Ram can be appointed in one more company, that is B company. Okay. Now, the business of these companies should not be competing with each other. For example, both the companies are into let's say hotel business, so they are competing business. They cannot do like this. So one company can be into hospitality, one company can be into education, one company can be FMCG, other company can be automobile. That they can do. Okay. So a person can be appointed in more than 2 companies as a director SSD, but both companies should be in different class of business or different businesses involved. Okay. Clear? Good. Next is a small shareholder director shall not for a period of 3 years from the date on which ceases to hold office a small shareholder director in company be appointed as in association with such company or in other capacity either directly or indirectly. This particular period is known as cooling period. We refer it to as cooling period, but so we'll call it as cooling period of SSD. So cooling period of SSD is how many years? It is 3 years. Period of 3 years. Cooling period means once you have been removed or you leave a position in a company, for that period of a cooling period, which is known as cooling period, you cannot be associated with that company directly or indirectly. So in our case, Mr. Ram, who left the company, who is going to leave the company in 2023, should not get associated with the company till 2026. Okay, so in that case he should he will not be there with the company till 2020. After that he can be again appointed as SSD in any other capacity. He can occupy any other position in the company, but during that time, during his cooling period, he should not be associated with the company directly, indirectly. Okay, he can be customer of the company, he can be creditor of the company, but he should not take any position in the company. Simple. That should be kept in mind. Good. Okay. Next is DIN, Director Identification Number. So it's a very simple concept, like we have our PAN numbers, permanent account number, or we have Aadhaar number. Every person who wants to get appointed or who is appointed or who is acting right now as director in a company should have a specific number, a specific individual separate number, which is known as DIN, Director Identification Number, DIN. So it's very simple, the provisions are simple. Every individual intending to be appointed as director of company shall make an application for allotment of DIN to central government. CG is central government here. So every person who want to get appointed director should make an application for allotment of DIN, that is to get DIN to CG. For example, I want to become a director in a company. First I have to get DIN, my director identification number. For that I have to apply to central government, like we apply for Aadhaar or something like that, for our passport or something. So what I have to do is I will apply to central government. I will fill some form. There one form is there, one form is there, E form is there. I'll go online, I fill up that form, I'll put my details there, I will give whatever the attachment they want to have, and I will pay some fees, and after that I will get my DIN. So central government will allot DIN to me within 1 month of application, but during that time I will have a provisional DIN with which I can work in different companies. Now no individual who has already been allotted a DIN shall apply or obtain possess another DIN, because it is a unique number, so every individual can have only one DIN, not more than that. Every existing director within 1 month of receipt of DIN from the central government intimate is to inform his DIN to company or all companies where he is in director. So whenever or as soon as a person gets his DIN, he should inform that DIN number to all the companies in which he is acting as a director right now. Every company shall within 15 days of receipt of intimation under section 156 furnish the DIN of all director to registrar or any other officer, and in turn what company will do, company will inform that DIN to ROC or register of companies that DIN number of our director is this. So application for DIN shall be made in form number DI3. This is E form which you have to fill for application of DIN in central government. Next, they have different kind of directors also. Some different kind of directors are there. Some slides I have left in between that we will do in second video or afterwards. These are important things. That's the very technical thing. First you get hold of directors, what directors is about, then we will go for their appointment. So there are 4 directors I want to discuss. One is additional director. Additional director, as the word additional indicates, it is extra. Yeah, additional is extra, one more. So board of director can appoint additional director if such power is conferred by them articles of association. If the provision is there in articles, then board of director can appoint additional director. Such additional director hold office up to the date of annual general meeting or date on which AGM should have been held, whichever is earlier. So whenever the director is appointed, this additional director is appointed, he will leave the company in next AGM. And why additional directors are appointed? Sometimes business of the company increases, their directors are the very less number of directors on board, something new come up, some project they start, so for that project maybe they will appoint an individual director, additional director, and then that director will automatically vacate his place, his position in next annual general meeting of the company. A person who fails to get appointed director in general meeting cannot be appointed additional director. It's very simple. A person who wanted to get appointed as simple director, but shareholders did not selected him that time, so he should not be selected additional director in the same company again. Now you have alternate director. Alternate means optional. The two words, additional mean extra, alternate mean options. You know alternate, what alternate you have. So alternate directors, board of director of a company must be authorized by articles or resolution passed by company in general meeting for appointment of alternate director. Alternate director can be appointed by board of directors or members. The person in whose place board of directors being appointed should be absent for a period of not less than 3 months from India. So any person who has left India for more than 3 months, in place of that person you can appoint director, alternate director. That one person is there, he is on vacation, he is gone to some other place, in that place of that person you can appoint alternate director, and he will work for in place of him. The person who is appointed as alternate director shall be the person other than person holding any alternate directorship for any other director in the company. So you can appoint that person as alternate director, and he should act as alternate director only for one director. For example, you have appointed Mr. Ram as alternate director of Sham, and again Mr. Ibrahim, one more director, goes on leave. You cannot appoint again Mr. Ram as alternate director for Ibrahim, because Ram is already acting as an alternate director for one director. Okay, next. If it is proposed to appoint an alternate director as independent director, it must be ensured that proposed appointee also satisfies the criteria for independent director. Now see, alternate director are acting as a shadow of director who is not there right now in the company. So all the characteristics which were met by the original director should also be met by the alternate director. Okay. In case of independent director, if there is independent director who left the company, in that case it is alternate director should also be independent director, or the person who satisfy the criteria of being independent should be appointed as alternate director in place of independent director. An alternate director shall not hold office for a period longer than that permissible to director in whose place he has been appointed, and shall vacate the office if and when the director in whose place he has been appointed returns to India. It's very simple. So whenever the original director returns to India, the alternate director appointed in his place should vacate the office, first thing. Second, if something happens to that director original, let's say he resigns from the office, or shareholders disapprove him of being director in the company, or shareholder remove him from directorship of the company, or he attracts any other disqualification in the company of being director, then in that case, when original director goes, the alternate director who was acting as alternate director for that director should also vacate the office. It's simple. Always remember the concept that alternate director act as a shadow of original director. So if original director is not there, then there is no question of shadow being there. Okay. Next is nominee director. Nominee director is any director is appointed by state government or central government or any institution in the company. Sometimes some companies are under investigation, or central government want to manage company on its own or by its own methods, or some financial institution and given loan to some companies. Then what they want to do is they want to check, they want to keep an eye on affairs of the company, how the company is being managed, or where the funds of the company are coming and from where they are coming and from where they are going, how a company is utilizing, is there any corruption going on in the company, how good or bad a company is managed or not managed. In that case, that particular organization, let it may be central government, state government, or you can say any financial institution, will appoint a director in board of directors of the company, which is known as nominee director. Okay, it's very simple. Next, appointment in casual vacancy. Now casual vacancy is a very important concept. Casual vacancy is a very technical concept and interesting. Casual vacancy is any vacancy caused by death or resignation of director appointed by shareholders in the general meeting. So अगर if any director is appointed by shareholder, that shareholder dies, that director dies or that director resigns from the company, then the vacancy created by that or resignation of that particular director is known as casual vacancy. For example, you appointed Mr. Ram, and in an accident Mr. Ram dies. Now you have 15 directors. Now one position is vacant. This vacancy is known as this vacancy which was caused by death of Mr. Ram is known as casual vacancy. Okay. Now casual vacancy, board of directors can appoint a director to fill up such vacancy. Board of directors, that is rest of the 14 members who are live and who right now who constitute board of directors, can appoint anyone in place of Mr. Ram. Let's say they appoint Mr. X as director to act in place of Mr. Ram, because now Ram is no more. The appointed director shall hold office only up to the term of the director whose place he is appointed. So X will remain in office till Mr. Ram was supposed to be in the office. Let's say Mr. Ram will retire after 5 years and he dies. So because the casual vacancy has been filled up by Mr. X, so Mr. X will remain in office till 5 years. Automatically he will be removed from office after end of those 5 years. Okay. So how many directors we have discussed till now? One is simple director, that's women. Then we had discussed women director, then small shareholder directors. Then we did additional alternate nominee director, and then appointment in casual vacancy. What is casual vacancy? This is the last topic we'll discuss today, and after this rest of the topics of the same PPT I'll discuss in next video, because I don't want to overburden you with all the information in the provisions. So next is disqualification of a director, that is one person cannot, if one person suffers from any of the disqualification mentioned here, he cannot be appointed as a director in the company. So first is, a person shall not be eligible for appointment as director of the company if he is unsound mind. You people are well aware of the fact what is unsound mind. He is undischarged insolvent, he is applied to adjudicated as insolvent. So first three conditions are, I think, quite understandable to all of you. Next is, he has been convicted of a code any offence, whether involving moral turpitude or not, and sentenced to imprisonment for not less than 6 months for a period of 5 years and has not elapsed from the date of expiry of the sentence. That a particular person has been convicted of any offence by court. Convicted means he is being punished. There is some offence he has committed and he has been punished of that offence, and the total imprisonment he is suffering, he is undergoing, is not less than 6 months. That is, the imprisonment or the sentence he has been given is awarded is of more than 6 months, and a period of 5 years has not elapsed. और जिस दिन वो imprisonment खत्म होता है उसका, उस दिन से 5 year period have not elapsed. Let's say someone was imprisoned in 2015 till for 5 years, and 2020 he will be out of jail or imprisonment. So the day he got out of jail, or the day his sentence was over, after that 5 years he cannot be associated or he is disqualified for being director in any company. So 2025 till 2025 he will be considered disqualified, provided that person has been convicted of any offence and sentenced in respect thereof imprisonment for a period of 7 years or more. He shall not be eligible to be appointed director in any company. So if the imprisonment is of 7 years or more, for example, you have committed a crime in which a person can be awarded with a sentence of more than 7 years, then whole life, a person during his whole life, rest of the life, he cannot become a director of the company, director of any company. An order disqualifying him for appointment as director has been passed by court or tribunal. That court or tribunal is also kind of court, has ordered disqualification of that director, and he has not paid any cost in respect of any shares of the company held by him, whether alone or jointly with others. 6 months have elapsed or from the last day fixed for payment of the call. Okay, and there was calls pending for shares held by him, and he has not paid that calls, and 6 months have elapsed from the last day when he was supposed to make the payment. For example, I am holding shares of some company, and final call was there. I was not able to pay the final call. The last day when I was supposed to pay, from that last day to last 6 months, I do not pay during that 6 months, then after that those 6 months I'll be disqualified to act as director. He has been convicted of the offence in dealing with related party transaction under section 188 and any other time during the last preceding 5 years, or he has done any illegal, any, you can say, any transaction which is in contravention of section 188 or which falls under related party transaction category in the last 5 years. Okay, and he has not complied with the subsection 3 of section 152, which is again related to director identification numbers. So all these disqualification can if a person attacks any of these points, if any person fulfill any of these points, then he cannot act as director in any company, whether it is any kind of company. And next there is some additional qualification, which is a person who is been or has been director of the company which has not filed financial statement, annual returns for any continuous period of 3 financial years, or has failed to repay deposit, accepted the interest thereon, redeem any debenture or due date payment interest due thereon, or pay any dividend declared, or such failure to pay redeem continues for 1 year more. Now these are related disqualifications. These are not directly attracted by the individual himself. So what these disqualifications conveys, a person is acting in a company, a person is acting as a director in a company, and that company defaults in these two things. So it's not your default, it's not default of the director, but it is default of the company as a whole. What are the defaults? The company has not filed annual statements for the period of 3 financial years, that's a default in itself. And the company has not paid any kind of, you can say, debt was there, or his company has not honored its payment obligations, and the failure continued for more than 1 year, then all the directors of such company are disqualified. For example, I am acting as a director in one company, and the company was not able to file annual statements, annual returns, income tax return or other returns for a period of 3 financial years. Then just after the end of 3 financial years, I become disqualified to acting director as in any other company. Now again, for example, I was acting director in 6 companies, and one company made this default. Now I cannot, because that's a default on part of the organization in which I was serving as a director, I will become disqualified to act as director in other 5 organizations also. This is a related disqualification, not a direct disqualification which director can do. This is related because the companies in which he is serving, those companies are going to default. Okay, and such director shall be eligible to be reappointed as director of that company or appointed in another company for a period of 5 years from the date on which the said company fails to do so. And whenever the fault is removed, that director can become director in any other company after 5 years. A private company may by articles provide any additional disqualification for appointment as director. Private company, because private company can add any other disqualification in article of association. They can write anything. For example, director should be an Indian, or director should be of more than 25 years of age, or something like that. They can add in their director should be a chartered accountant, he should be engineer, something like that. They can add in their articles, and that time that will become the disqualification attracted by those directors of that particular company. Okay, so I think this topic is also clear. It is quite lengthy, and you have to learn all the points, you have to learn all the disqualification. At the same time, this also attracts case studies may also come from this point, that is particular director name and the defaults can be given, and it will be asked whether a particular particular individual qualifies to be a director or does not qualify to be a director in the company. Okay, so we will address this topic for today. There are various slides still pending. This will take around 1 or 2 more videos to complete. So okay, stay home, stay safe, study well, and stay blessed. Thank you all, and be active.